Hey, Adam,
Jeez,
one
why,
thing.
why do you think they call it bumpers, Gary?
I don't know.
Because they come at the beginning and at the end, like bumpers.
Alex, you're a marketing guy. Do you like that design behind Paul? Does that SWOT logo thing look pretty cool to you?
Hey, I forgot to hit the record button.
Yeah, that's really professional, isn't it?
Well, this is a professional podcast.
I met her in a parking lot and was handed 2 little Yorkies. And the only person I knew that knew Yorkies was Paul. So I called Paul and said, Paul.
CEWT Talk is a weekly 20-minute podcast brought to you by the Continuing Education and Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. Find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and SoundCloud and subscribe today. Now it's time to get started with CEWT Talk.
Okay, welcome everybody. This is Idaho State University College of Technology, Continuing Education and Workforce Training CEWT Talk. I'm Gary Salazar. We have Angela Wilhelm with us today. Paul, you'll notice, is not leading us off today. He has another important meeting, but it doesn't matter because, as usual, we have a couple of excellent guests that we're going to talk about here. Angela, how are you doing today?
I am doing well. We film these on a Friday, so even though it comes out on Wednesday, I'm going to wish everybody a happy Friday today. And
Yes.
You are right, Carrie. We have some extremely amazing guests on today. We have Steve and Annie. They are with our construction combine as well as other various organizations around ISU. I'm very excited to have them on today. How are you, Steve and Annie?
Well, we're fine.
Great.
Just looking forward for the combine.
Yeah, super. And that's coming up here at the end of March, so it's just around the corner.
March 29th and 30th.
Annie, both you and Steve do some remarkable support things for us here at Idaho State University, particularly with the combine, but you do other things in the community too. Annie, you're a case manager for something called Red Door, is that right?
Yes, Red Door Rehabilitation and Supportive Services.
And what do you do there?
I home the homeless. I help people with health and welfare and apply for Social Security, and just overall help them try to live their lives better.
That's so cool. That is really very neat of you to be able to do that. It's a fantastic side story, all of its own, and you've got such a big heart helping us here and doing those kinds of things. Really appreciate that. Steve, you're our main guy in construction. You do so many cool things around here, but you also teach construction out at Attero at Fort Hall. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Every Tuesday and Thursday night. We were there last night and put together a couple foundations for the combine. We do a lot of preliminary stuff out there.
Yeah,
The boys out there build a lot of stuff for the combine.
That's so cool. And it's great that they have you because of all the experience you bring. But you're not just doing that. You're also working on the side doing restoration projects, right?
Yeah, limited. Okay, I've been retired since 12, but been pulled back in the workforce. So we have Annie and I have some couple good friends that own a business that every now and then you'll need some restoration for flood damage or whatever. I'll go in there and do it for them.
Right.
Roto-Rooter, one of our participants in the combine as well.
Yeah, it's great how things come together and we have all these other connections that go on too. And I know that sometimes you get pulled into other things. So thank you for all of that. I think we're very fortunate to have the skill level and level of experience that you bring here at Continuing Ed Workforce Training. Annie and Steve, we're going to get into the meat of this discussion, which has started off fabulously, but for the next about 18 minutes or so, let's begin with, could you give us a little bit of your backgrounds? Annie, would you lead first? Your background is so different from Steve's, but how did you get to Idaho State University and then over to us?
Well, I was a oral surgery assistant for many years. Not my ideal job, but it kept food on the table, raised my 2 children. And then I just didn't want to look in people's mouths anymore. So I decided I was going to go to school. I graduated with a political science degree and a minor in psychology and social services. I graduated in 2020, but I got this excellent opportunity. Scott Stevens asked me if I would be an intern, and Gary said yes. And so for 3 years, I interned at the CEWT, and it was just fantastic. That got me involved in the construction combine. From the very first one, we've done them all, except for the 1 year where we all got pandemicked. And it has grown and grown and grown. I'm responsible for also carrying it to other states and to other communities in Idaho. And last year, my husband and I, we did 6 of them. We went out of town and helped other people do theirs. And it was really, really rewarding. I think it's where my heart is. I think that we're perfecting it more and more every year. And I think it's really, really coming together. That's one thing I think that I'm really proud of. And I'm really proud of my husband because he really, really is attached to those those sheds that go to the veterans.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's really attached to those, and he really, really works hard on them.
Yeah.
So that's it.
That's
I
cool.
graduated in 2020, which was not the ideal year to graduate, but I still did it.
But it hasn't stopped you at all.
No.
Steve, you've got such a great background in construction. Can you tell us a little bit about that and coming here?
Oh, gosh. Well, make a short story. I've got about 73, so that's 53, 56, about 58 years in construction. I have a general contractor's license. I got a drywall license and worked for years and years and years in Pismo Beach, California. And then migrated north. So came over from Washington to here.
Yeah.
Just this one drew me over.
And
Came out of retired. I was only over here for what? 3 months. You drug me out of retirement. That fast. You no, you're not retired.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So that's incredible. And the fact that we were able to, be benefited by both of you is remarkable, and very much we're privileged to have you here. So thank you for all of that and for being with us today on the podcast. You guys are awesome. Our combine started out in 2018. Steve, you were there in 2018 on that very first one. Do you remember that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were. Boy, do we.
Oh, I think everybody's hair was on fire on that one.
That was the first one we did in the Home
Oh,
Depot
my goodness.
parking lot. Oh my
Oh, my
gosh.
Yeah.
Shirley and Penny and I were just talking about that. It's really,
Oh, my
really,
goodness.
I'm sorry, but it was great too.
Mhm.
It was challenging, but great at the same time.
Mm.
It
So
was-
I actually have a question. This is for Gary. And I'm newer here. This will be my first construction combine. So I actually have a question for you, for all of our listening audience that doesn't know what the construction combine is. Can
Mhm.
you give us a bit of a brief, Gary?
Yes. Thanks, Angela. For anybody who's not aware of it, and that's a great point. And there's probably people out there going, "What the heck is he talking about?" The combine is an idea put together by Scott Stevens to develop some kind of a workforce opportunity for our construction industry, and it brings together a lot of our local contractors, and also some of our high schools, our rural schools, who have students who are interested in perhaps learning a little bit about it and want to get into construction, and we bring them together for 2 days. And they come because of the beneficial relationship we have with Home Depot. They come to the Home Depot parking lot where they get the opportunity to work alongside, being mentored by several different kinds of contractors, everything from framing to concrete to drywall, electrical, plumbing, and they get a little exposure to those things. And then that happens all on day one. On day two, they come back and they build a number of sheds, work sheds that you'd find in the back of somebody's home for furniture or gardens, or even motorcycles, as we've learned here recently, for storage. And at the end of the day of putting those together, then those same students, those teams that have built them, then get to donate those sheds to some local disabled and other veterans here in the Pocatello-Chubbuck area. And it's a fantastic community event. It's a great hiring event. It's a super event for folks who are looking for another job or looking for just learning about construction. That's the construction combine. That's the model that started here. And Steve and Annie were here at the very, very beginning on that first one, which, we look back and chuckle about now because there were so many learned lessons as a result of that. And
Yeah.
how two of them have helped us refine that over and over the years so that this single event, which began here, now is, as Annie mentioned, has translated into opportunities at other towns and cities in Idaho. And she's also talking about some other interests that's coming from outside of Idaho. We'll get into that, but thanks, Angela. That's the construction combine. And
You know what, I'd also like to mention that we in Pocatello have a absolutely wonderful community. I am responsible for fundraising, a lot of it. And I tell you, we've had some people they start calling me now and saying, hey, when's the combine? When's the combine? When can I give? How do I give? What do I do? And, I've got 4 other meetings today about people that want to participate and finance the combine. So I've got to say, we have a great community.
Yes, and she is absolutely right on that. We get fantastic feedback on the combine, not only just as an event that takes place here and helps students or locals who are looking for, hey, I want to get in this other field, but also from, our city mayors like this. They've come on out. We have other city leaders who come out and say, this is awesome. She is absolutely right. We get a lot of community support for it, and we want to continue doing that and giving back to the community. So it's a win-win everywhere we look. Yeah. Does that help, Angela?
Yes, thank you so much.
I feel that, you can, well, so to speak, give a man a fish and he eats for a day, but you can teach him how to do this stuff and he can, flourish and eat forever.
Right. And a large part, Steve does that with all of he kind of takes control of a lot of the teaching of our contractors, the process, hey, this is how we build a shed. He's come up with schematics for this, and we've hung them on the website, or hanging them on the website once they get updated again. He's helped us manage the process that we go through for day 1 and day 2, thanks to his experience, his level of background. And not only that, everybody, but Steve fine-tunes stuff. He figures out ways to make it more efficient for us to deliver this out there. And it's really amazing because he doesn't do anything but talk sheds to us all the time, which is so cool to hear. Here's a guy he's not just embossed with construction, he lives construction. And we're privileged for that. So, hey, we talked a little bit about 2018 as the start. Steve and Annie, remember that very well. I remember sheds with doors that didn't quite look the same, but how's it evolved in your minds, both from the donation side and from the construction side? What have you seen as the best growth areas?
Well, the donation side is incredible. I mean, we have so many people, and then those people talk to other people and they call me and they want to be a part of, or they drive by and everybody wants to know what's going on in the Home Depot parking lot. So they come through, then I go run up to them and talk to them, and they're like, how can we get involved? And so I put them on for the next year. And I'll tell you, it just spreads. It really spreads. I have seen it evolve. The thing is that, we have, we all put our heads together and, okay, this would be better. This would be better. Let's try to do this way. And then I'll run out, just like, Camp World gives us trailers now. We used to have a tent. And then one year we had nothing, and it was pretty cold, and it's always seems to be one day is pretty cold. So, we've really perfected this a lot. Just with the kids, with the schools, just totally perfected it. I'm so excited every year to see exactly what we've done that's different and new and is working.
Yeah. From you, Steve, what has changed for you? What have you seen as the evolution?
Well, from
the first one.
From the first one. Yeah, it was not knowing what to expect. First of all, I think they're throwing these things at us, and everyone's going to start building everything. And I think they finished. I think they only built like 8 sheds that first time. And I think they only finished like 3 of them.
Yeah.
And then the next day, it took 2 more days of going down there and tightening them up and finishing them up to where they could be delivered.
Right.
So
Right.
to like today, I mean, we build them so much different. They're just like Legos now, you know. The walls are pre-sided. The day before, the kids build the walls, they side them, they build the foundations, they build the roofs down on the ground, and they roof them down on the ground. Everything's pre-done, the doors are all done, and so the next day, they basically, these little groups go in, and within about 3 hours, they'll have yourself a brand new shed.
Mhm.
And everyone works and everyone participates, and they all get their little pictures taken in front of their sheds, you know, with the vet that gets them, and there's more time to have that assembly at the end of the day, to where you can talk about the presentation and the vets and all the subs and all the organizations and all the people that help finance this thing. It gives you a little bit more time to do that instead of rush. And we're building 11 this year, and you'll have 11 sheds with all the little flags on them, all looking good, all looking exactly the same. You know, that's the main thing there, was cutting that material used down. It used to be a runaway material bin. Everyone would just go and just chew it up like a bunch of beavers, you know. And so we got it down now to where it's everything's used, everything's utilized. There's like hardly any waste in these things.
Yeah. Yeah. You've been very, very helpful in making that thing more streamlined and efficient.
Yeah, it had to be, because it was nuts.
Speaking of nuts, guys, you've really helped out around the state too. I mean, Annie, you get calls, and you mentioned like 6 different places you went to in the last
Yeah.
year.
Mhm.
Tell us a
All the
little
way
bit
up to Sandpoint, all the way up to
Sandpoint wanted
Sandpoint.
it. They needed
That
help
was
up there.
fantastic.
Right. And you've been up to Coeur d'Alene. I know you've been out there. Steve, you and I went out to
Lewiston,
Meridian last year, and a year or so
Lewiston.
before that. Went out
Yeah.
to Lewis and Clark's, the college out there.
Mhm.
You guys go everywhere, and your reputation is proud and prestigious. I think people are asking for you. Driggs was big.
Driggs, yeah.
And I remember the video you took of that. You had all those sheds lined up, and that was fabulous.
Yeah, that's well, I'll tell you what, Sandpoint, there's I can't remember the gentleman's name that was the carpenter, the lead carpenter up there. Anyway, I got the opportunity to sit down with him for, you know, an hour, and let's go over your protocol, and I'll show you so he took the playbook,
Hmm.
and he just tweaked it. Okay. And he goes, I think this would be better. This would be better. This would be more efficient. And I'm just taking it in. So everyone we've done, I've learned something on, okay, to where we can eliminate this, and, you know, do it this way. We'll save material. We'll do it this way, to where we've got it down now to where it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good to hear you say that, because I know it's a ton of work to get these things ready, but being able to enjoy that product and working with everybody and
Mhm.
results for the contractors, that's awesome.
The
And
National Guard too, they're so awesome.
the National Guard, that's kind of a love-hate relationship with those guys. They come in, and just clarifying, I'm Navy, guys. When Sean Edwards comes on down with the National Guard and they bring those generators, I love those guys to death.
Me
Yeah.
too, love
Great
Sean.
work.
Yeah,
Sergeant
I
Morello.
love Sean, but boy, I tell you what, those National Guard boys, you gotta watch them. They're so gun ho, man. I'll tell you what, when everyone says
They are.
start building, I mean,
They take charge.
yeah, you gotta get on, because they want to do all the work. They just go. I go, no, it's for the kids. It's for the kids. You want you show. Next thing you look over there, no, they're all just working like crazy. You know. You go,
Yeah, they are awesome, and they bring the tools to every.
oh, they do. I mean, like I said, I love Sean. I
They
mean,
buy the food the second day. They really help us out a lot.
Sean,
Generators,
yeah,
tools.
I just want to give some kudos to Sean, because let me tell you something. Old Major, he comes up there on the day before. He puts on his tool belt, and he gets out there for 3 or 4 hours and just
That's
gives
right.
it back.
That's right. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got construction experience. He jumps in.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you what, he's a great plus to have.
There've been days before when it's been Sean, Steven, and then Cody Klingard show up, and then
Yeah.
Steven's students. And I think that's fantastic.
It is. It is. Hey, we're getting close to the end, so we're going to have to start wrapping this up soon. But Annie, would you talk just briefly about who has been inquiring from outside the state of Idaho? What kind
Well,
of
Reno, Nevada, the Home Depot,
Wow.
Carrie Addison called me, and also we've got Wyoming, Jackson. They want to do it.
Mm,
We've got what we have Philadelphia. Someone called me from Philadelphia. I've got Texas, California, just about everywhere we go and have family.
yes. Well, that works.
We have
out
a lot of
pretty
grandkids and a lot of kids. So yeah,
You got a free lunch in bed all the way across.
yeah, I've got a whole list of them, and there are so many people that are so interested. They just don't know how to put it into action. So I think that's where we fall in.
Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
want to try Jackson first, and kind of step easy on going out of state, because there's other situations you have to
Right.
look
We have to work with lots of different requirements there. Absolutely.
Right.
Thank you for
Right.
doing that. You may have heard our timer going off. Before we start to wrap this thing up, Angela, maybe we can give Steve and Annie just the opportunity to say, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, if somebody had a question about donations or about, hey, Steve, how do you do this or something, what would be the best way for them to reach back and get a hold of you?
You can call me. You can call me.
Call in.
Steven's
Call in.
usually busy and he doesn't like to answer his phone. So you can call me and I'll put you in touch with him. But my number is 208-317-0116. I answer all my calls due to my other job. So if anybody's interested, please give us a call. We will answer all your questions.
And and if you happen to grab my number, leave a message. I will call you back. But she's right. I'll never answer the phone.
Thank you, Steve.
Unless if it's a number ID and I know who it is, I'll answer. But other than that, no, I'm never.
Hey, you guys have been wonderful guests. We're talking to Annie and Steve Quinton, extraordinary people here in our community who've been helping out with the Combine. They do a lot of other things in the community, but we've been very privileged to have them here. Thank you again for what you do. Thanks for appearing on our podcast, Annie and Steve.
We're happy to have Angela too. We're real happy.
Angela,
Well, thank you.
Angela is our marketing coordinator, and that lady is also amazing. And speaking of which, Angela, what do you think about wrapping this up? Can you take the call?
I will take it for fall. Thank you, everybody. Please like and share if you'd like to see more from us. You can find us on Spotify. You can also find us on YouTube as well as our blog. If you would like to get a hold of us, you can do so by phone at 208-282-3372, or you can email us at cetrain@isu.edu.
Excellent. Super, very, very, very good. Appreciate it. Everybody, you all have a great weekend. And for those of you hearing this on Wednesday, you have a great rest of your week as well. We're all going to say goodbye. You all be safe out there.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.